So the big question is this: how do small businesses like yours, who feel like you're doing all the right things and going to all the right events, reach the federal buyer in a way that helps you win more contracts? That is the question, and this is the place to get your answers. My name is Neil McDonnell. Welcome to the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Okay, let's get started. In a previous post, I provided an introduction to spin selling, a way to perform business development and capture activities, asking the right questions. Now I'll expand on the fourth and final type of questions, need payoff questions. These questions cause buyers to explain how your solution can help them. It's the buyers doing this, not you doing it, right? And in turn, it helps make them see the value of your solution. I'll include in this post sample need payoff questions for federal buyers. First, though, this content is brought to you by the GovCon Chamber of Commerce, the only organization dedicated to the success of all small businesses in the federal space, with members from Guam to the U.S. Virgin Islands and every single state in between. Each year, roughly $125 billion is awarded to small businesses as prime contractors. Our vision is to double that number by helping small businesses truly understand the process for success. Small businesses are the backbone of America. By helping you succeed further in government contracting, we'll be able to help American communities. My name is Neil McDonnell, and I've been where you are now. I've been a small business owner for 20 years, building 2 successful firms selling to the federal government. I won subcontracts with small and large prime contractors. I've won prime contracts with defense and civilian agencies. I've done things right, and I've gotten things wrong. The one thing missing, though, for me then and you now, is an easy to follow process that'll lead to predictable success. That's my commitment to you. I'll provide the process. If you accept responsibility and don't blame others, you'll find you have the control to change your future. Neil Rackman wrote a book called Spin Selling that has guided my call preparation for every sales call I've made. SPIN is an acronym that stands for situation questions, problem questions, implication questions, and need payoff questions. By following this method, you'll have many more successful meetings with federal buyers. Right now, let's focus on the need payoff questions. Need payoff questions are about the value, importance, or usefulness to an agency's problem. You want the buyer to begin talking about how great your solution or ideas are and focus less on the problems. This helps them realize the benefit not only to themselves, but to other stakeholders in their agency. In federal sales, you can use need payoff questions to begin to impact the acquisition approach from the point of view of your strengths. For example, if you have ISO or CMMI certification, you can help the customer understand the benefits of requiring vendors to have similar certifications. Obviously, there's value to the customer when you have those certifications, but there's a nice bonus of limiting the number of competitors you have to worry about. Another way need payoff questions can help is identifying win themes. If you can discuss how your proposed product or solution would further benefit the buyer in the agency, you'll have information your competitors don't have. You'll be able to use what you learn from these questions throughout the proposal, which will give the reviewers the right impression that you understand them and what they would value. When selling to the federal government, there are 3 main groups of people you want to meet and ask questions. Focuses of receptivity are people who are willing to help you learn about and navigate an agency. An agency's small business specialist is one example. Another is a large prime contractor's small business liaison officer. A primary responsibility of these folks is to answer your questions and make introductions. They're looking for qualified small businesses like yours to support their internal customers. Focuses of dissatisfaction are folks with problems and needs. Usually this is a program office that has a requirement, but it also could be another business office within an agency that's dependent on the program office you're selling to for products or services. Focuses of power are the money people. While a program office has the need, only a contract officer can award you a contract. Contract specialists support contract officers and have that LinkedIn power, if you will. Let's go over a few examples you could ask based on which role you're asking. No matter who you meet with, remember this: be persistent, be polite, and be prepared. That means taking the time to write out the questions that could help uncover challenges, pain points, and objectives. In previous posts, I've walked through situation questions, problem questions, and implication questions. They're all designed to guide your conversation with the buyers, with these need payoff questions now focusing on the solution. So let's go ahead and start with small business specialists and tackle a set of questions for them. Through previous questions, we learned that the program office is not that engaged with small business specialists, but the small business specialist actually wants that to improve. What would be the upside of more program office engagement? We ask this because we want them telling us this upside so they can then tell it to their bosses and to the program offices in a more convincing manner. The program office expressed concern about smalls, and we're asking, would it help if small businesses showed they can address the concerns? Would subject matter expert videos help showcase small business value to the program offices? We're trying to figure out here how to help leadership get the word out to their internal buyers. This question, why does your agency think small business goals are important, is digging into the resistance from the program office. If there is resistance, we want to help the small business specialists be able to articulate why they think that's a problem. Is it just a goal numbers issue? Or do they see the value of small's contribution and the goal is just the metric they track? Along those same lines, we want to help the small business specialists remember when asking, why is it important for large primes to hit small business goals? We want them to remember that through teaming opportunities like this, the agency is able to increase its qualified supplier base through small businesses who've proven themselves while subcontracting. Remember, these aren't your questions necessarily, but they serve as examples for when you're writing your own need payoff questions. Let's go over some examples you might ask when meeting with a program office point of contact. If you haven't seen my other posts on spin questions, watch those so you have a fuller context of how these questions evolved. If we could help reduce costs, who else would be helped? You're trying to get them to see it's not just a dollar's savings, but others will benefit from those cost savings. In this second example, after talking with an IT department, we know addressing user concerns will be important to them, but asking if your users can increase output, how would that help them? Will help the IT department see the need as a more explicit need. We're trying to get the buyer to almost ask us to find qualified people here by having them consider if we could help you find subject matter experts, which would be the first you need. If they tell us those first people, then we can kind of head off that way and start trying to provide those people to them. Previous questions got the buyer to acknowledge a strong need to improve process, which obviously would improve service delivery. Now we're digging deeper on the benefits by asking, would process improvement also reduce costs? Through previous discussions, we learned that they have an issue with quality and that there's an explicit need to just improve the quality for mission success. But if you improve quality, will that also save money? Of course, we know it will, right? But often the buyer is so focused on the initial problem of improving quality to improve the mission or deliver mission success that they don't actually remember the cost savings benefit. And we want them thinking about that benefit and talking about it. Let's dig into some examples for a contract officer or others on the acquisition team. Again, your questions will be far more appropriate to your own products and services and challenges faced by your target customer. We've heard they don't get enough small businesses replying to sources sought, but who cares? We need them to care. By asking what value to the agency do you see from more small business vendors, we're hoping they can articulate a good case for smalls. If they can do that to you, then they can do that to internal stakeholders as they advocate for more small prime contract awards. A pet peeve of theirs might be that smalls mismanage projects. While this is obviously a false assumption, we have to address it. Perhaps by asking if small businesses had ISO certification, would that address your concern with risk management? We're both trying to address their stated concern and perhaps trying to push out competitors if we can get the opportunity to require an ISO certification. What benefit would come from more small business awards? If the contract officer is saying they think small should participate more in an agency, having them talk about the benefits such as flexibility, innovation, increase in the supplier base, etc., will help them remember why it's important to have smalls win contracts. If your firm specializes in managing servers or hanging drywall, you want to highlight how that focus is competitive even against a $1 billion firm with have you considered the value of firms with a niche product such as the painting or SharePoint or something like that? In my last example here, I'm continuing off the contracting officers saying they want to engage in the industry. While they can say that, we're trying to get them to remember why it's important with something like could more industry talks help define requirements and avoid scope issues in the RFP or even the post award period? Need payoff questions help you and focus the buyer on the solution and benefits from working with you. You can ask these at any level, but in federal sales, you'll want to especially focus it on the program office. Most of the folks who will decide on an award will come from the program office, and you want to help them really understand their problems in a way that your product or services is the best approach. When I say that government contracting is not a secret, it's just a process, properly preparing for meetings and asking the right questions is part of that process. I created 5 posts around spin selling and asking questions that will move your sale forward. Make sure you watch them in order again and then practice writing questions before any meeting you have. If you found this content valuable, others will too. Please give it a thumbs up so they can find it. If you'd like to connect with me personally, do so on LinkedIn. We often do free training webinars and interview federal buyers. Make sure to sign up for the GovCon Chamber's email list to be notified about these opportunities at www.govconchamber.com. Finally, please consider becoming a sustaining member of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. I'm Neil McDonnell, wishing you great success.